Hi, Seth David here from the world famous Nerd Enterprises Incorporated, and I want to talk to you about our monthly reconciliation services. This really falls under the heading of bookkeeping services, but I bring it out as a separate category because, first of all, a lot of times companies that don't have a huge budget for outsourced accounting and bookkeeping might want to hire us just to do the reconciliation. So you've got somebody who maybe doesn't have all the bookkeeping background but knows enough to get the basic transaction entered on a day-to-day basis, and then we come in and we do the reconciliations for you monthly. And that works out very well for a lot of clients. So it's something to consider, especially if you're just looking for that extra pair of eyes, somebody with experience like we've got to look things over and make sure everything's being done properly. And we can do that, and we can reconcile the bank statements every month. But what I'm shocked to find out a lot of the time is that not everybody seems to realize that it's also important to reconcile the credit card accounts. It's very important to reconcile the credit card accounts because a credit card is a bank account. It's just the reverse of a normal bank account. Instead of first depositing money and then spending it, you're spending it first and then making deposits and paying interest for the privilege of being able to do that. But just as important as reconciling bank accounts, every single credit card account that you have, that you use for the business, has to be on the books and it has to be reconciled every month, just like a bank statement. In fact, going a little further, what you really want to do each month is go through your balance sheet, and this is part of our monthly review services, which is another section, but you want to go through the balance sheet and look and use that almost as your checklist and see every bank account that's on the book. Are the reconciliations up to date? Then go to the credit card accounts. Are those reconciliations up to date? Got lines of credit? Guess what? Those reconciliations need to be done every single month to make sure that there's no mistakes, that everything's being booked properly, to make sure that you've picked up all the interest expense and recorded it properly as interest expense. So many times I get into a set of books for a new client, and what I find out is that all the payments to pay on a line of credit or even a credit card are booked, or let's leave out the credit card example, just on a line of credit, the full amount of the payments are booked as a reduction in the liability, so you're skipping out on all the interest expense. You're missing out on that important and sometimes substantial deduction that needs to be on your books. Not to mention your books aren't accurate if it's not recorded correctly, so when we run the P&L and balance sheet later on, it's inaccurate because it means you've paid off too much of the liability and not enough, you don't have enough expenses on the books. So things are misstated when it's done that way. So the monthly reconciliation is probably the most important fundamental thing that needs to get done. It needs to be done every single month. So give us a call if you need some help with that. 866-945-8070. We're Seth at nerdenterprises.com. And while you're at it, if you're on the website looking at this, have a look over to your right and sign up for our newsletter. I send out a weekly newsletter with lots of helpful tips and information. I think you'll enjoy it. If not, you can always unsubscribe later. Again, my name is Seth David. This is Nerd Enterprises Incorporated, and I look forward to hearing from you about monthly reconciliation help and services that we can offer you. And as I always say, I look forward to seeing you on the web.